The Sydney Marathon has released its time qualifying standards for 2025. Are course changes in the pipeline for one of Australia's most popular marathon festivals? What not to do at the end of a race? And has another Aussie marathon festival missed the mark on race day medals? All that and more in this episode of the weekly vlog. Hi guys, how's it going? My name's Neil, aka Woody. Thanks very much for joining me on this weekly vlog. In these videos, I go through some running news and also dissect some of my running sessions from the previous week. First up, the Sydney Marathon and their high performance program, or those time qualifying standards for 2025. Now, I won't go through all the qualifying standards here, guys, but I will put them up here on screen so you can see what they are. Been a lot of chatter on social media, some positive, some negative, but at the end of the day, this is what the Sydney Marathon organisers have gone through. The interesting point here is that organisers have only opened up about 600 spaces under the time qualifying standards. There will be an allocation for Australian and New Zealand runners, but I'm thinking that you're going to need quite a buffer to actually score a place under the high performance program or the time qualifying standard. Now, you have to have run a qualifying standard between January 1 and December 31, 2024. Entries will remain open until January 10, and you will be notified whether you've scored a place under the high performance program or the time qualifying standard on January 21, 2025. This is where it gets a little bit confusing for me, because January 10 is when the general ballot results are announced. So what happens if you score a place in the general ballot and then also score a place in the time qualifying standard? What happens to your place in the general ballot? Does it get reissued to somebody who missed out? Does it go to charity? Does it go somewhere else? I'd be really keen to know what organisers are planning to do there. Now, moving on to the Sunshine Coast Marathon Festival, and I mentioned here on the channel a few months ago after the 2024 event that there was talk that there would be some course changes coming in future years. Well, that looks like it may be happening for as early as 2025. This is what their website is showing. Now, this has all come from the fact that the Sunshine Coast is favoured to host the 2032 men's and women's Olympic marathons when the Olympic Games comes to Brisbane. And organisers of the Sunshine Coast Marathon are moving towards trying to eliminate some of the laps out of the marathon course. If you haven't run the Sunshine Coast Marathon, it is a one lap of the half marathon course and then two shorter loops of 10.5 kilometres. It will be interesting to watch this space over the next few months to see what changes there are coming for the 2025 Sunshine Coast Marathon. Now, have a look at this footage that a friend of mine sent to me this week. It's from the recent Zatopek 10 track meet in Melbourne, and this is the under 20 3,000 metre B race. There's lessons in here for all of us, regardless of whether you're front of the pack, middle of the pack, back of the pack. Don't celebrate too early. Always run through the finish line and never give up. Who knows what the guy in front was thinking halfway down the finishing straight, but huge kudos to the young fella who never gave up, and he was rewarded with a win right on the line. Still on the Zatopek 10 track meet, and this also doubles as the Australian 10,000 metre men's and women's championships, and also the 3,000 metre men's and women's championships. Congratulations to Jack Rayner, who won his 4th title, and also to Rose Davies, who collected her 3rd title. The 3,000 metre women's winner was Lyndon Hall. The Open men's winner was 18-year-old Cameron Myers, who ran a brilliant 7:41.11, slicing more than 5 seconds off his previous national under 20 years record. He's a real talent, and congratulations to everyone who did take part in the Zatopek 10 track meet. Another thing that popped up this week was the release of the race day medals for the Cadbury Marathon in Hobart in January. Don't know about you guys, but I'm not a real fan of this medal. If you don't know what this medal depicts, it's a chocolate bar made by Cadbury. Completely understand why the organisers have gone with a medal that looks like this, Cadbury being the major sponsor of the festival. Yeah, I'm not a fan, guys. I'd love to know what your thoughts are. Hit me up in the comments down below. And look, if you've got a medal shocker from a race, or you've seen a medal that made you laugh or whatever, shoot it through to me on email and I might share a few of them on next week's vlog. But for me, this medal from the Cadbury Marathon Festival misses the mark. Time to have a look at some of my running over the past week. We've had a little bit of a reprieve in recent days from the disgusting hot weather that we had earlier in the month. I'm sure I speak for all runners in southeast Queensland when I say it's been much more pleasurable running in this cooler weather. So this is how some of the runs went down this week. Well, heart rate has shot up a little bit in that last 2.5K since the last drink stop. Wow, that was disgustingly yuck. I'm drenched in sweat. Oh, the only saving grace was there was cloud cover. But wow, even though I slowed the pace right down, took longer breaks for water stops, they were still tough. Whew. Bit of a reprieve from the hot weather today, but it is bloody windy. It's a little bit wet there. Alright, that's the warm-up done. Doing a little bit of a session today, 10 by 500s with a 2-minute standing recovery. 500s will be done about 5k pace or a little bit slower. So I'm being really kind on the body because it has been really hot the past week and have just been working a little bit harder in those easy runs. Heart rate's been a little bit elevated, been sweating a lot, been pretty tough on the body, even though the paces have been pretty subdued. But today I just want to get the legs ticking over a little bit quicker with a session like this, making sure that I'm giving myself ample rest between each rep, and that's what the standing recoveries will do. Now I was going to do this session on the Esplanade, but it is so windy. Hoping that in the bush here I've got a little bit of a gravel track, should be about 500 hopefully. I can escape the wind a little bit, mightn't be able to escape the puddles for all the rain that we've had. But it's important to remember too that even though it has been so hot and all you feel like doing is getting out and just plodding along at an easy pace, don't get caught in the trap of running every day at the same pace. Just vary your paces a little bit. If you don't do that, you're not getting 100% benefit of the fitness curve. So it's just good to wake the body up a little bit with some faster paces. The faster paces don't have to be express. Get the body working just a little bit harder. You put the work in now during summer in this hotter period, you'll really be able to cash in during winter when it does cool off. And that's the reason why I'm doing these sessions today, just a little bit more kinder, with a longer rest. Normally wouldn't have quite as much rest for a session like this. As you can see, the track goes down here. I'm pretty sure it's almost 500 meters. All right, do some drills, some strides, and then we'll get into it. Let's go. Well, wasn't 500 meters, but to duck up this little side forest track, so I'll just have to readjust a little. There's a track that went down that way, so we'll do that to get 500 meters. So 2 minutes now, supposed to be standing recovery, but I'm going to walk down here and hopefully get 500 meters going back. There we go, session completed. I didn't do any more filming because the GoPro battery is almost out of charge. Solid session, comfortable without going over the top. Paces did get a little bit quicker than 5k pace, and I was working a little bit on the last 2 or 3. Have recovered quite well after doing that last one, and the 2 minutes recovery was
just perfect. And I think the pace has just got a little bit high because it is so much more cooler today than it has been for the past week or so. And running was just so much more pleasant. And in here in the bush as well on this gravel track, yeah, it just works really well for this type of session. It was good in here too. Got away from the wind. It was a little bit windy in places, but it wasn't too bad. It would have been just extremely tough if I'd done it along the esplanade.
Alright guys, that's it for another weekly vlog. A couple of days out from Christmas now, so I just want to take this opportunity to wish you, your family and all your friends a very Merry Christmas, and to say thank you to every one of you who has supported me and the channel through 2024. Trish and I will be having a quiet Christmas with our two sons and their partners, and unfortunately I'm working Christmas night. That's just the way it goes. If you've made it all the way through to this point in the video, I really do appreciate you watching. Make sure you give the video and the channel some love by hitting that like button, smashing that subscribe button and tapping that notification bell so that you are made aware of videos when they do drop here on the channel. And don't forget to leave me a comment down below. Thanks again. Remember, stay safe over the festive period, and I will see you real soon in the next video.